Thank you all, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being here today. It is wonderful to be here in Springfield among so many friends, so many supporters, and the most energized Democrats in the United States. No other state in this nation can compete with our grassroots, our advocates, our phone makers, our door knockers, and our get-out-the-vote army. Donald Trump may have his red MAGA hats, but they can't compete with our blue organizers in Massachusetts. Thank you. You are the reason that we have the great all-Democratic delegation in the United States, including Springfield, Congressman Richie Neal, a great leader. And I am so proud to be here today with the greatest partner a United States Senator could ever have, the phenomenal Elizabeth Warren. Elizabeth is our working class warrior, our fighter for families, our champion for the Commonwealth. No one fights harder on behalf of workers and families than Elizabeth, and no one knows how to get under Donald Trump's skin better than Elizabeth Warren. We are blessed to have her representing the Commonwealth in the Senate, and we will soon be blessed to have her serving the entire nation as the next president of the United States of America. So many of us are here today because we recognize that right now we are in an epic struggle for the very heart of our sacred democracy. A Muslim ban, attacks on health care and reproductive freedom, deportation armies, mass shootings, a greedy tax policy, a Russian collusion investigation, and a president that has brought us nearer to nuclear conflict than we have been in more than half a century. The values that we hold dear here in Massachusetts are under direct assault. The American dream that so many in the Commonwealth are striving for is becoming impossible to achieve. Income inequality, college affordability, social injustice, a deadly opioid crisis, all of these things are making it harder for our families to climb the ladder of success. But since our founding, Massachusetts has survived and thrived because of our tradition of hard work, of imagination and innovation. And I know that the American dream can come true. My father drove a truck for the Hood Milk Company. My mother was senior class president, but because my grandmother died, she had to stay home with her younger sisters. When I went to college, I was the first person in my family to have ever gone there. When I met a lawyer for the first time, it was the first law school professor who walked into my class. When I was sworn in as a congressman, that was my first trip of my life to Washington, D.C. I know the American dream because I learned those values at my childhood kitchen table in Malden, Massachusetts. The same table where my mother paid the monthly bills, balanced the checkbook, figured out how long we could keep the heat on during the cold winter nights. I grew up on Townsend Street in that blue-collar neighborhood in Malden, and I know that for me, the reason that I am so committed to ensuring that every child in America, regardless of where they live, regardless of the community that they come from, regardless of their race, regardless of their income, regardless of their color, regardless of their sexual orientation or gender or age or creed, that they too should be able to realize the maximization of their God-given ability. And I know how fortunate that I have been For too many families, that American dream has grown further and further out of reach. In America today, the 3 richest men in America have as much wealth as the bottom half of all Americans combined. The bottom half of all Americans. But a kindergarten teacher made approximately $50,000 last year. Who contributed more to our country last year? All of the kindergarten teachers, all those 3 wealthy individuals in our country. And since January 21st, 2017, Donald Trump has made it his mission to divide our great nation, and he is doing so to his evil benefit. Donald Trump does not want to make America great again. He wants to make America hate again. And I believe that the labor, social justice, climate, LGBTQ, and progressive activism we see marching and chanting and rallying and protesting on the streets has awakened Americans to the division at the core of Donald Trump's hateful agenda. Not neighbor versus neighbor, not worker versus worker, not even right versus left. It is the wealthy few versus the rest of us. A woman still makes only 79 cents on the dollar to a man. That is wrong. An African-American woman makes only 61 cents on the dollar. That is wrong. A Latina makes only 53 cents on the dollar. That is wrong. If we just close the gender pay gap, we would cut poverty amongst working women in half and add $513 billion to our national economy. This is Donald Trump's economic plan. Deny, deprive, devalue. It is un-American, it is immoral, and it must end. Donald Trump and his allies want us fighting each other so that we're not focused on fighting them. But that's where the real fight is. Fighting the hate, fighting the division, fighting the greed, and that's where we will win. We are the party of gender equality. We are the party of net neutrality and criminal justice reform. We are the party of Medicare and Social Security. We are the party of Medicare for all. We are the party of the Green New Deal. Never in our history have the interests of all Americans been so united on a single issue: the climate crisis. The planet is running a fever and there are no emergency rooms for planets. Global temperatures are the highest in recorded history. Wealth inequality is at its highest point since the era of the Great Depression. The erosion of our coastlines, the erosion of earning power of workers, the pollution of our planet, the pollution of our democracy by big oil and Koch brother financing. The interrelationship of these ills and injustices is undeniable, but the challenge is not insurmountable. It will only be through an historic, generational commitment to end the climate crisis that we create the kind of democracy that works for all of America. The climate crisis is the economic, national security, health, and moral issue of our time, and that is why I partnered with Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez on a Green New Deal for America and for the planet. We have acted on this scale before, and we must do it again. Solar and wind, energy efficiency, smart power grids, clean and affordable public transit. Our energy future will not be found in the dark of a mind, but in the light of the sun. President Trump calls the Green New Deal socialism. Well, what does he call 100 years of tax breaks for the oil industry, the coal industry, the natural gas industry? Give us some of that socialism for wind and solar and all electric vehicles and storage and all electric buildings, and we will bury the fossil fuel industry. Will be the greatest force of blue-collar job creation in a generation. This is job creation that will be good for all of creation. That is how we will save the planet. Now is the time to embrace a new climate democracy of the people, by the people, for the planet. We have the technology to do it. We have the moral obligation. We have the economic imperative. We just need the political will to get this job done, and we will do it by removing Donald Trump from the White House. But we know that Donald Trump and his Republican Party aren't going to back down, not now, not ever. But we need to send Donald Trump and his supporters a special message from Massachusetts. We don't back down, not now, not ever. Massachusetts never backs down. The Green New Deal is going to be a part of this state that we're on, along with universal health care, the highest minimum wage in the country, earned sick time. We have achieved many historic victories in Massachusetts, but the future demands more. Paid leave for all workers, Medicare for all, an equal rights amendment. Here in Massachusetts, we know what these fights are all about, and we know how to win, because we know that on every one of these issues, there's one thing that divides us from Donald Trump. We are right and he is wrong. We are not just any state. We are Massachusetts. And Massachusetts Democrats do not agonize, we organize. When I announced for the United States Senate 6 years ago, I decided I would go up to Lawrence to ring the doorbell at 88 Phillip Street, where my father grew up with his brothers and sisters on the first floor of a triple-decker. And I wanted to see who lived now on that first floor in that triple-decker. And out onto the porch came a Dominican family with their children. And the accents were different, but the aspiration was the same for that family as existed for the Marquis. Now I'm here today as the United States Senator because of the hard work and vision which the people on that first floor had, the hope for the future. When my mother, who was senior class president, married my father, who was a graduate of the vocational program at Lawrence High School, my father always said, you know, your mother is a brilliant woman. When she contracted Alzheimer's, my father said to me, Eddie, you know, it was an honor that your mother married me. She's never leaving to live here on Townsend Street in Malta. And I saw in my father a commitment that I think is shared by families all across our state and all across the country. A commitment to family, a commitment to the dignity of each person, and ensuring that they are protected from the things that they cannot protect themselves from. I know I'm here because of my mother and father.
I know I'm here because of the inspiration that they gave me. And I honor them, and I honor all families who make that kind of sacrifice for their family members. That's why I fight so hard every single day for people in our country. So I'm here to ask, will every single person here stand with me for equality, for justice, for democracy, for everyone, regardless of where they live? Will you stand with me to ban assault weapons, pass universal background checks, close the gun show loophole, and make NRA standards not relevant anymore in American politics? Will you stand with me for immigrant rights so that dreamers and their families don't have to live in fear every single day in 3-decker homes in Lawrence, Massachusetts? Will you stand with me to support our workers and our unions and their right to organize and to collectively bargain? Will you stand with me for a constitutional amendment to overturn Citizens United? Will you stand with me and demand that Donald Trump answer the questions, what did you know and when did you know it? We need to start impeachment hearings now. Will you stand with me for criminal justice reform? We owe an apology to an entire generation of African American young men who were incarcerated as part of the failed drug war on drugs. We have to apologize to them, and we also have to say that black voices matter, black votes matter, black lives matter. Will you stand with me for every child, regardless of race or background, to be able to get a first-class education? We need tuition and debt-free college at public colleges and universities all across our country. Will you stand with me for NARAL, Planned Parenthood, and reproductive freedom? We must not allow Donald Trump to appoint any more Brett Kavanaugh or Neil Gorsuch to the Supreme Court to overturn Roe versus Wade. That's why I am running for re-election, and that is why I need you. These are the fights of our time, and I want to fight for you on the front lines in the United States Senate. I am running for re-election, and I am asking you to join me in these fights that will define our future. Massachusetts was the home of the Revolutionary War, of the abolitionist movement, of the suffragette movement, of the universal health care movement, of the same